Think you know NBA history? Picture the 1980s. Big hair, short shorts, and legendary dunks. These are the forgotten stars who shaped basketball's golden era. Ready to dive deeper? Ready to drop some serious knowledge at your next get-together? Now imagine the league's top scorer of that decade. You're probably thinking Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, or maybe even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? Well, guess what? It wasn't any of them. The real scoring kingpin was none other than Alex English. Yep, you heard that right. Alex English, the smooth shooting forward for the Denver Nuggets, was the top scorer from 1980 to 1990, racking up an incredible average of 25.2 points per game. Alex English amassed a total of 21,018 points, which is more than any player in that decade. Just to put that number into perspective, closest person to that was Moses Malone with 19,082 points. And English was a true Iron Man, playing no fewer than 78 games per season. Talk about consistency. English thrived in Denver's run-and-gun, high-octane offense. The Nuggets were all about speed and scoring, and Alex fit right in, lighting up the scoreboard night after night. But he wasn't just padding stats in the regular season. When it was playoff time, Alex took his game to another level. During the deep playoff runs of 85 and 86, he was absolutely unstoppable, averaging a jaw-dropping 29 points per game. And here's the kicker. He did all this while attempting just 2 3-pointers over those 2 postseasons. Yep, 2. This guy was all about mid-range magic and getting buckets the old school way. So the next time you're looking to impress your buddies with some top-tier basketball trivia, drop this little gem about Alex English. Let's talk about a guy who, despite being an undersized 6'5" small forward, was also a scoring machine. Adrian Dantley was basically put on this planet for one reason: to get buckets, and buckets he did. Dantley was a scoring artist, averaging a solid 24.3 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 3 assists per game over his career. And here's the kicker. He did it while shooting a sizzling 54% from the field. That's efficiency you don't see every day. This guy was like a basketball sniper, hitting his mark time and time again. From 1980 to 1984, Dantley was in full-on beast mode with the Utah Jazz, averaging over 30 points per game for 4 straight seasons. Imagine that kind of consistency. He was a 2-time scoring champion, which is no small feat in the NBA. Despite his incredible stats, though, Dantley's legacy sometimes gets overshadowed. Part of the reason for this is because he was part of the early Bad Boy Pistons, a team known for their rough and tumble style of play. But here's the twist. During the 1988-89 season, Dantley was traded for Mark Aguirre just before the Pistons went on to win back-to-back championships. Talk about timing. And let's not forget his early years when he burst onto the scene and snagged the Rookie of the Year award in 1976-77. Throughout his career, he made 6 All-Star appearances and was named to the All-NBA team twice. So next time you're in a heated basketball debate, don't sleep on Adrian Dantley. All right, basketball history buffs, gather round for a tale of a true two-way terror from the 1980s. Let's talk about Sidney Moncrief, a guy who didn't need a long career to make a huge impact. Despite having a relatively short tenure for a star player, about 10 years, Moncrief was an absolute force on both ends of the court throughout the entire decade. Moncrief's resume is nothing short of impressive. He made the Hall of Fame, was named to the All-NBA team 5 times, won Defensive Player of the Year twice, made 5 All-Star appearances, and was a 5-time All-Defensive Team member. This guy was like a Swiss Army knife on the basketball court, versatile and reliable in any situation. Now here's where it gets interesting. Sidney Moncrief was so good defensively that he was recognized as the league's premier defender without posting mind-blowing defensive stats. His career highs were just 1.7 steals per game and 0.5 blocks per game. But don't let these numbers fool you. Moncrief's defensive prowess was more about shutting down his opponents and less about stuffing the stat sheet. He was like a basketball ninja, disrupting offenses and making life miserable for the other team's best players. Even though Moncrief never snagged an NBA title, having him on your team was basically a guaranteed ticket to the playoffs. He made the postseason every single year of his career. That's right, every year. Talk about consistency, because let's face it, in reality, in the 1980s, it was either the Lakers, the Celtics, the 76ers, or the Detroit Pistons winning the title. If you weren't on one of those teams in the 1980s, forget about it. Let's talk about a player who was more than just a sidekick in some of the most iconic moments in NBA history. Most folks remember Dennis Johnson, or DJ, for that famous game-winning layup after Bird stole the ball in Game 5 of the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals against the Pistons. But trust me, DJ was so much more than that clutch moment. Dennis Johnson was a star throughout his career, one of the best two-way guards the NBA has ever seen. Before he was teaming up with Larry Bird and Kevin McHale to bring glory to Boston, DJ was already a big deal. Let's rewind to 1979, when he was the Finals MVP for the Seattle Supersonics. DJ put up some serious numbers, averaging 22.6 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2.2 blocks, and 1.8 steals per game, leading the Sonics to a 4-1 thrashing of the Washington Bullets. Talk about stuffing that stat sheet. But wait, there's more. After his heroic days in Seattle, DJ moved on to the Boston Celtics, where he continued to shine. With his relentless defense and clutch performances, he helped Boston clinch 2 championships in 1984 and 1986. The guy was a defensive dynamo, making the all-defensive team 9 times. And let's not overlook his offensive contribution. DJ was a 5-time All-Star and made the All-NBA team twice. His ability to score, dish out assists, and grab rebounds made him a versatile threat on the court. So the next time you hear about the famous Bird stole the ball moment, remember that Dennis Johnson was the guy who finished the job. But don't let that be the only thing you remember him for. DJ was a 3-time NBA champion, a Finals MVP, and a Hall of Famer with a legacy as one of the best two-way guards in the game. Let's dive in the roller coaster career of one of the most explosive scorers in NBA history, Bernard King. This guy's journey is filled with ups, downs, and some serious comebacks that will have you cheering for him all over again. Bernard King burst onto the scene with 2 stellar seasons for the New Jersey Nets, showing everyone he had serious game. But then came a trade to Utah, and let's just say things didn't go as planned. It was the low point of his career, and King was facing significant off-court problems that threatened to derail his promising start. But just when it looked like the story might end there, a trade to the Golden State Warriors changed everything. King found his groove again, averaging 21.9 points per game and shooting an incredible 58.8% from the floor. His comeback was so impressive that he won the 1981-82 NBA Comeback Player of the Year award. Talk about your turnaround. King kept the heat on during his time with the Warriors, but it was with the New York Knicks where he truly made his mark. In the 1984-85 season, he was on fire, winning the scoring title with an eye-popping 32.9 points per game. He was the hottest player in the league, and everyone knew it. But just as he was reaching the peak of his powers, disaster struck. And on March 23, 1985, in a game against the then Kansas City Kings, King tore his ACL. The injury was brutal, and King had to sit out the entire 1985-86 season and all but the last 6 games of the 1986-87 season. Lesser players might have called it quits, but not Bernard King. He battled back, showing the same resilience that had defined his career. Despite all the setbacks, King was a 4-time NBA All-Star and ended his career with impressive averages of 22.5 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 3.3 assists per game. His story is one of perseverance and sheer determination. All right, basketball junkies, let's talk about a guy who helped revolutionize the power forward position, Tom Chambers. This guy was a standout across 6 different NBA teams. He's probably best remembered for his high-flying days with the Phoenix Suns. Chambers was a power forward ahead of his time. Sure, he could rebound, but he also had the shooting touch of a guard and a knack for finishing plays that made defenders look silly. Forget about a great post presence. Chambers was all about that sweet mid-range game and explosive dunks that left opponents scratching their heads, wondering how to guard this versatile big man. Throughout his impressive 16-year NBA career, Chambers made stops with the San Diego Clippers, Seattle Supersonics, Phoenix Suns, Utah Jazz, Charlotte Hornets, and the Philadelphia 76ers. He put up solid numbers wherever he went, averaging 18.1 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per game. And let's not forget his 4 trips to the NBA All-Star Game, including snagging the MVP in the 1987 contest. That's right, he was the star among stars that year. But if there was one place that truly embraced Tom Chambers, it was Phoenix. He was a key player for the Suns, dazzling fans with his scoring ability and high-flying antics. His impact was so significant that the Phoenix Suns retired his number 24 jersey on April 18, 1999. Let's chat about a big man who could light it up from anywhere on the court, Bob McAdoo. This guy wasn't just a typical center who parked himself in the paint. Oh no, McAdoo was a versatile scorer who created mismatches left and right because he was deadly from all over the floor. McAdoo stormed into the NBA and made an immediate impact, snagging the Rookie of the Year award after the 1972-73 season with the Buffalo Braves, now the Los Angeles Clippers. But he didn't stop there. Just 2 seasons later, he was crowned the league's most valuable player. And get this, McAdoo was the last player to average more than 30 points and 15 rebounds per game over a season. In his best year, he put up a jaw-dropping 30.6 points and 15.1 rebounds per game. He led the league in scoring for 3 consecutive seasons from 73 to 76, making defenders everywhere break out in a cold sweat. He also made 5 NBA All-Star team appearances, cementing his status as one of the game's elites. McAdoo's career took another exciting turn when he joined the Los Angeles Lakers. He was the spark that ignited their Showtime style, playing a crucial role as their 6th man. He helped the Lakers win 2 NBA championships during the 81-82 and 84-85 season. Imagine having a former MVP coming off the bench. Everywhere he went, he brought his scoring prowess and rebounding tenacity. By the time he hung up his sneakers, he had career averages of 22.1 points, 9.4 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per game. The Hall of Famer wasn't just a big man. He was a game changer who could score from anywhere and help his team win championships. So who are some other famous players that we might have wanted to add to our list? Drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and hit that like and subscribe button.